Naisha.
See, that's what I told you. Same person.
N-I-S-H-A.
You lied.
Oh.
That's what I said. I'm at 18. Hey, don't y'all spell it the same way? How you spell yours?
Oh, hey.
Say make sure it's lined up right. Excuse me. That's why I'm ready. Make sure it's pointed where it needs to point. It's on. Excuse me. Check. All right, great crowd. We're about to get started real quick. Did everybody get food? If you want to get some food, we got pop, water, and all that good stuff out there. Feel free to go out and make yourself comfortable. If you're in our house, you're at home. Thank y'all so much for coming. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is our fourth Cap Talk. This is our April edition of Cap Talk. And we did policing last month. And it went well. It went so well that at the end of the Cap Talk, everybody was like, let's do it again. Let's do it again because, people felt like maybe we didn't cover everything. We had some more people that couldn't make that one that are now here, that I see people that are here. So I'm so glad to see y'all here. So without further ado, let's get started. So last month, I'll do a quick recap while they're, taking care of business over there. Last month, we covered policing, and of course we're covering policing today. But last month, we got into, of course, we had some recent events with, our state police. We've had, those aren't new things. Those aren't the only things that have ever happened. Like in our community, the history of policing is bad. Let's just say plainly, we don't get the same treatment that other communities get. And that's a problem. And so we wanted to convene the community. That's our purpose. For those of you who've never, checked us out, we're CAP. We're Saginaw CAP, Community Alliance for the People. You can check us out at SaginawCap.org. Point blank, we're a community advocacy group. We, whatever's important to the community is important to us. We're going to fight. And that's it. Period. We don't have to have a long, drawn-out explanation about it. We're totally grassroots. None of us, are paid staff. All of us are volunteers. All of us. So, we're not doing this for a check. We're doing this because this is something that is near and dear to our heart. This is something I consider my life's work. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm gonna do. And you know, until my wife says I can't do it anymore. But you know, it's something that, you know, the city of Saginaw, born and raised here. You know, this is my home. And anything that negatively affects my home, I'm gonna have something to say about it. And so, you know, that's how CAP came about. Because we got tired of just talking. We wanted to do something. And so, you know, and that's a lesson that I wanted to teach my kids, and hopefully, you know, help you teach your kids. We don't have to just sit around and just complain. Let's do something. And because we're in a city, just like any other city, we pay taxes here. You know, we buy our homes here, we raise our children here, we pay the cost to be the boy. Like, we don't have to sit back and allow our city government or anybody that's in charge to do what they want to do. No, you do what we want to do. You know, we are at the top of the totem pole. The taxpayers are at the top of the totem pole. So, you know, don't want to get too deep into that, but that's just kind of how we roll. So I'm glad that y'all are here today. So we want to get really into, you know, policing again. We wanted to get into today, you know, and of course we'll hear your you know, anything you want to talk about. You know, we do a 10-minute presentation, we get out the way. Like, we don't bring people in to just talk, and y'all can sit here listening. No, we do a little something, then we get out of the way, because what's most important is what you have to say. And what you have to say, we stream it out. Hello, Facebook, glad y'all on. We stream it out. We also use it for advocacy purposes. Like, we take what you say. It's not just what Cap said. It's, hey, the community says they want this. The community says they're tired of this, they want this. We take that data, as you can see, my people, we write our stuff down, we take the notes. You know, you guys fill out a survey as well. We take all of that data and we advocate for you, for the community. That's what we do. So, you know, anytime, you know, we're asking for your input, it's for a reason, because we're using it to advocate for you. So, with that, let's get started. So, again, we talked about policing last month. We got into, you know, the incidents that happened in our community, you know, and all the treatment. We had a lot of people that gave their own personal testimonies about what has happened to them, you know, when it comes to police in this community and how we've been treated. And so we dealt with a lot of that, and we'll continue to deal with that. But today we wanted to go into, you know, and really talk about what community policing is. If you focus your attention, our presentation is on the screen here. But we wanted to get into what community policing actually is, because, you know, sometimes you say a term and people just like, oh, community policing, but some people be like, what is community policing? What is it supposed to be? And big part of being able to advocate for yourself is to know what you're advocating for and actually spell it out. So today we wanted to spell out what community policing is and what it should be. So on the screen here, you have a textbook definition of community policing. Community policing is a philosophy, a management style, and an organizational strategy that promotes proactive problem solving and community police partnership to address causes of crime, fear of crime, and other quality of life or community issues. Now, the idea of community policing, you know, community policing is a substantial reform, perhaps the most substantial. Since policing embraced the professional model, community policing has been the biggest thing. Community policing is a change in philosophy that broadens the police mission. And it's a comprehensive philosophy. What that means is it's not just one idea. It's a collection of many. It's a collection of many ideas. Now, officers must not only be enforcers. That's a big piece of it. They must also serve as advisors, facilitators, organizers, and supporters of community-based initiatives. And the biggest thing, they must view citizens as customers. Like, we're on equal terms. The CP philosophy asks officers to look beyond the individual incidents to see whether there are underlying pressure points. So, when you think of the community, oftentimes there's an underlying issue. You can't just show up and think you see what you see. You got to do some more investigation. You got to see what's really going on. CP is a grassroots form of participatory democracy to include participatory management, community, and internal components. As I said, it's not just one thing. It's a combination of many things. CP decentralizes police services internally and externally. What that means is policing isn't done at the police station. It's done in the community. You can't police a community that you've never stepped foot in, that you don't reside in, that you don't walk through. You don't know the people. That's the point. The focus is on the street level officer. Again, you can't police a community effectively if you're not out there. Like really, really out there. A street level officer assigned to a specific beat or area, working closely with people and their problems. You have to understand the whole person. You have to understand family. You have to understand what's going on in the community. And you need to move beyond the traditional paternalistic attitude. What paternalistic is I'm in charge, you do what I say. Got to move past it. And you have to empower officers and the citizens together as a unit. You cannot rely merely on pretenses. You can't just show up thinking, you got a call, or you get a preliminary thought of what you think this call is going to be. And so you arrive there, with already a preconceived notion of what you think you're about to see. Can't do that. Now, certain things you have to do, they say, somebody got a weapon, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you got to show up, understanding that, but you can't have a pretense. And you must embrace the spirit of service, accountability, and responsibility. You have to make the crucial transition from being a promise. This has to not only be a philosophy, it has to be a professed norm, meaning you have to change the whole mindset of how you police the community. The people are the PD's most valuable resource. I'm going to repeat. The people are the PD's most valuable resource and should be treated as valued partners in the police process. Now, we'll get into some dimensions of community policing. You got 4 up here. You got the philosophical dimension, the organizational and personnel dimension, you got the strategic dimension, and you got the programmatic dimension. The philosophical dimension, historically we have focused on outputs. You think of how policing is done now, where they focus on arrests. How many guns they got on the street, data points, arrests made, citations, response time, all that wonky data stuff. And it hasn't been effective. And that's what's called reactive police. And all you're worried about is numbers. And that does little to deal tangibly with the community problem. So, those things, you talk about the broadening function. We talked about that earlier. We have to broaden the function of police. But when you don't do that, you incorporate fear. Reduction, order maintenance, and community health. You have to think about all those things. Crime is a product of social conditions. Therefore, it cannot be controlled through police action. You're not going to solve crime by just having a bunch of police out there. We've seen it for our generation, our mothers' generation. When are we going to change? Traditionally, we've been primarily concerned with educating the public, not truly listening to them about their needs. So, Community policing encourages two-way communication. You have to go another way. In addition to being a law enforcement organization, part of CP is police departments need to be service-oriented organizations. You can't just show up and think they're in charge, which, by law they are, but you can't have that mindset, or you'll never get to the bottom of what you're really dealing with. Police must do more than attempt to impose their authority. They have to do more than that. And CP is not just a tactic to gain the eyes and ears of the community. It's not just a catchphrase. This has to be a whole philosophy. Get into the organizational personnel dimension. When you're dealing with people in a community like this, let's be 100% honest. You're dealing with a lot of people that are in low income. You have different things going on. This is a lot of people in this community are disenfranchised, for economic reasons or lack of power, but those same people should have a voice in both police activities and in development of initiatives. CP is egalitarian in the sense of what egalitarian means is everybody's on the same page. There's no hierarchy. I'm just as important as you are. When you show up to a scene, it's not chest poked out. It's what's going on. So, to achieve this, we must change our organizational structure. And that's, for the police to do. They have to modify their personnel orientation and adjust value systems. They have to buy in to understanding that the people are on the same wavelength as them. These changes will allow transition to community policing. We have to look beyond individual crime incidents for new ways to solve problems. So we get into a geographic focus of ownership. So when you do community policing, you put foot soldiers on the ground. So you have to focus on locations within the city. Rather than just have a bunch of numbers, focus on locations. Because when you focus on location, then now you can talk about, well, what's happening over here? Because maybe what's happening on the south side ain't necessarily happening on the north side. It has to be location. It has to be about location. And you must have some level of geographical permanence for CP to be successful. The person that is on the north side, he should only be on the north side. That way the north side people know who he is. Y'all get this? This ain't even really deep, is it? Officers must work a specific area on a permanent basis. They'll become familiar with the residents, activities, and social problems. Direct, daily, face-to-face contact. It's just a continuation of what we're talking about. The continued daily presence will breed familiarity for both the police and the citizen. Pretty simple. Develop and implement modes of transportation that make the citizens accessible and the officers approachable. The patrol car is a clear barrier to open and effective communication. You got to get out of that car. And at this point, without CP right now, police presence is, how many times can I get a car, please? It has to go beyond. Prevention focus. Examine the conditions surrounding crime and disorder, hotspots, in an effort to develop effective measures of eliminating them. The officer that is over there, is stationed over there, over time he gets to know what's going on over there. Pretty simple. And they must take the lead in implementing programs that attack the underlying causes of crime. You can't just arrest people and get them off the street and think, you got him off the street, the problem's still there. Absolutely. So we get back to CP, it's operationalized through, number one, reoriented police operations, get out of the car. Get out of the car. Get on a bike. Get on, get on foot. Get out. Problem solving. Again, we should engage problem solving rather than focus solely on responding. Don't just show up. Go up and figure out what's really going on. Hear and follow, different models. This is the third model. Creative solution. And then, this is, one thing that we have to do for officers. We have to, give them the freedom to be innovative. Because a lot of times, I know they say it sometimes, but, sometimes we really are locked in the policy. And so we have to look at policies, to take the shackles off. So, an officer that can really relate to people, they're not locked in the policy. They can actually, do what they need to do and not worry about, their job. So, we need to do that as well. Community engagement and partnership. Engagement is accomplished through the establishment of partnership. I mean, we have a few, we have a few, but, are they really effective, or do they go far enough? We really need to look at some different partnerships to, some real partnership, not just the ones that check a box. Some real partnership. Show up to our schools when it ain't the high and the hill game. And you expecting a fight. Some real partnership. Show up when we have an honor society. Assembly. Actually connect in. Real partnership. So let's talk about the birth of community policing. Where did this come from? It's important to know where something comes from. As history demonstrates, many factors set the stage for the birth of community policing. And we just talked about a few of them. The isolation of officers and police cars, they're just driving around, not getting out. The narrowing of the police mission to just crime fighting. Policing can't just be about crime fighting. It won't be effective. And, studies show that they're not even really effective at crime fighting. So that can't even be how you focus on something you're not even good at. You only show up after it happens. You barely take a report, but, it's no other thing. So, an over-reliance on the scientific approach to management that stress efficiency and effectiveness. Again, we talked about that with how many arrests, how many guns did you get off the street, all these stats. You can manipulate stats to tell a whole different story than what's actually happening out here. Increased reliance on high-tech gadgetry. We've been through this. We have the shot spotters and the different things that they, all these gadgets that they buy that we waste money on. Let me be frank, we waste your money on it. They ain't getting it from nowhere. We paying all these taxes and it's our money that's being wasted on this stuff. Insulation of police administration from community input and accountability. You can't have a chief. You can't have the lieutenants and stuff that are just staying in building and they never connect to the people. That's another level of, not really connecting to the community. And of course, a long-standing concern about police violation of human rights and failed attempts by the police to reach the community, such as crime prevention and team policing units. None of this stuff works. So, the early experiments with community policing have been effective. Y'all hear it ain't nothing complicated. It's not complicated at all. It's common sense stuff. Get out of your car, connect with people. Of course this is effective. You're connecting with people. So, this is a graph here. When you look at traditional, basically what's in place now, versus community policing. You look at who are the police. Traditionally, who are the police? We look at them as a government agency, and they're principally responsible for law enforcement. But in community policing, police are the public, and the public are the police. It's a partnership. So Next question, how is police efficiency measured? By detection and arrest rates is what they do now. That's stats and all these boxes that they check. But really how police should be measured, policing should be measured is by the absence of crime and disorder, the result. If you have a better method to get to this, now we couldn't. What are the highest priorities? Right now, they just look at the crimes that are of high value, like robberies and shootings and different things like that. That's where you narrow the focus and you get off track. But really, the highest priorities, it should be what problems disturb the community the most. That comes from y'all. We say, what's the high priority? We say, leave that alone over there. This is what the problem is right here. This is the problem right here. That comes from us. What specifically do police deal with? Right now, they only deal with incidents. Really, in community policing, citizens' problems and concerns are the highest thing. What is police professionalism? To them, it's swift and effective response. How fast did I get here? What was the time? Again, a data point. When really, police professionalism should be keeping close to the community. What is the essential nature of police accountability? Right now, they say accountability is, our power is centralized, our leadership is centralized. But really, it should be emphasis on local accountability. Y'all. And how do the police regard prosecution? Prosecutions, they just locking people up. Just locking people up, is that really effective? You just got them off the street for a minute. But we know if you have a problem, you get one person on the street, someone else is going to slide in. But really, prosecution should be one tool of many. Meaning, I might not have to take you off the street. You might be a kid that I can just shake up a little bit. I can take you home to your mama and embarrass you a little bit. Say, hey, he was out on the corner down there, doing who knows what. I know your mama, boy. You ain't supposed to be out. You know what I mean? Other methods, because kids are different. People are different. And you can't use one method for everybody. Don't make sense. So this community partnership process has 3 factors. Trust, communication, and community contact. I'll say them again. Trust, communication, and community contact. If you take any one of them out of there, it ain't gonna work. Any one of them. You can think in your head right now, look at all of those, think which one you can do without. None of them. You can't. And so that's what a community partnership is. Gotta have trust. Gotta be able to communicate. Gotta have contact. You can't communicate with me if you ain't even in contact with me. So let me tell you what community policing isn't. Because there are some detractors, that are against community policing. Some people say, you're doing that, y'all being soft on crime. No, you're not. You're just looking at different methods. You might have a kid that's just like, what he do got to go to prison. He just got to. He's doing too much. But you might have one that you can say, but you can't use the same method on both of those kids. You gonna throw them both away? That don't make sense. This isn't touchy-feely either. It's not soft, it's not touchy-feely, it ain't overly soft. It's not social work. A police officer isn't a social worker, we know that. But they should have some traits in them like a social worker. They should be people persons. They should be able to connect with people. Community policing isn't a trend or a program that you just plug in and put in place. No, it's a whole mindset change. It has to come from the top down. If your chief isn't on board with this, it ain't gonna flow down to the office. And so you're gonna have officers out in the street treat people wrong, bullying and messing with our kids, and that's something we ain't standing for. We're just not doing it. And it's not a panacea, meaning this is not the only solution. It's a big part of it, but it's not a silver bullet. Like, you're going to do this and then everything's going to be great. No, it's going to take some work. And it's not a short-term fix. This is a long-term fix. This is something that you have to put in place, and you have to work at it and work at it, and we have to keep them accountable all the time, not just when something happened to my son. And you're like, it wasn't my kid. No, that's your kid, that's my kid. Because next, it could be my kid. It very well might be. So we have to take a community approach to community policing. Like I said, it has to be a whole paradigm shift. It has to be a whole shift. Again, we went through a lot of these, what traditional policing is versus what community policing is. Community policing, arrest is only one tool. It's only one tool. We're not results and outcome oriented. We're about proactive problem solving. We're about partnership. We got to share information. We're a community. It's about crime reduction and prevention, not just numbers. Not just numbers. So I wanted to address this because somebody brought this up to us. Said, if we have more black officers in the PD, wouldn't that work? Now, early returns say that diversity in policing can improve police and civilian interaction. Now, this is from a study. I'll be frank. We had some people saying that, what about their data? CAP don't be putting out the right data. Walk over here. This is from Princeton, not CAP. From Princeton, the School of Public and International Affairs. For the folks that say, that question our data. That's my petty moment. The early returns say diversity in policing can improve police and civilian interaction. Now, from this Princeton Diversity in Policing study, for our Google folks out there, Princeton Diversity in Policing study. The study first debuted February 7th, I think it was in 2021. And this data was collected, from the Chicago Police Department. They basically went into Chicago, and we all know Chicago is always in the news about shootings and different things like that. And it's a bigger department, and that's the reason why they chose Chicago, because they're a huge department. They're really, really diverse. I didn't want to just read through this. I'm trying to cut a little time, but they chose Chicago because it's huge. You talk about thousands of officers. And thousands of officers that are black and white and other persuasions. So that's why they chose it. In fact, let me go back. Because there was something in there that people needed to see. So in here, from the research, they showed that black and Hispanic officers make far fewer stops and arrests and use less force than white officers, especially against black civilians, when facing otherwise common circumstances. So they're using a control, like in the same situation, at the same time of day, in the same neighborhood, you have a control. So that it ain't just, this officer was in a whole different situation. No, the same situation. It showed, initially that black and Hispanic officers make far fewer stops and use less force. Hispanic officers as well. Female officers as well. Of any persuasion. So these findings suggest that increasing diversity within police departments may decrease police mistreatment of minority communities. First step in assessing the impact of the diversity policies is to test whether officers with different demographic profiles actually do their jobs differently while holding circumstances constant and control. Using rare micro-level data on when and where thousands of officers are deployed over time. And we are able, they said, they're able to make these comparisons, and they found substantial disparities in officer behavior, even when facing comparable places, times, and civilians. The assessment continues. This is a very expansive study. This started, when George Floyd, when all that was going on. So the researchers wanted to determine how the deployment of officers from different racial, ethnic, and gender identities might affect the treatment of civilians. They used new high-resolution data on police personnel activity in Chicago, which has a history of racial tensions between residents and the police. This micro-level data indicated not just that an arrest had happened, but where, by whom, at what time, on what charge, plus many features. So the study was very expansive. It had a bunch of different data points just to make sure that their findings would be as close to, real as possible. They drew on data assembled through years of open records requests, which included the race and ethnicity, language skills, daily shifts, career progression of roughly 7,000 officers. 7,000. Then they linked these files to timestamp, geolocated records, on and on and on. You see how far they went to make sure that the data that they grabbed, they had different data points, so you couldn't poke a hole in it. These are the findings of the study. They found black officers made substantially fewer stops, arrests, and uses of force per shift than white officers. Reductions equal to 29%, 21%, and 32% of average white officer behavior citywide. And those numbers are substantial. If you move a number 30%, that is substantial. The findings are similar for Hispanic and female officers, though the differences are more modest. These patterns are remarkably in line with the hopes of proponents of racial diversification, which seeks to reduce abusive policing and mass incarceration, especially in black communities. Now, while the researchers cannot discern bias or intent, one explanation for the differences could be racial bias. When dealing with a black officer and a black person, could be some bias there in a positive, right? Could be. Further study with additional data is needed to understand the mechanisms between these differences in police behavior. The study also stresses that the effects of diversity in policing are more complex than often recognized. So even as far as they went, it's still a more complex problem. Now, while this study focused on race, ethnicity, and gender, police officers are multidimensional human beings. That means enacting effective personnel reforms will likely require thinking beyond these categories. Nevertheless, the study provides a framework for other scholars to evaluate and reevaluate the effects of diversity in policing in America. So, you see a study like this, they dealt with 7,000 officers over many, many years. And, they came to some they seen some things that stood out. But can you really go all the way and say that diversity, is that silver bullet? Probably not. So, what do we learn? We learn community policing is a viable option. To me, it's more than viable. It's actually the way forward. As far as the community is concerned. It's more than viable. I have my own personal views. I'll leave those out of there. But in the vein of having a community, policing model, it's viable. It's very viable. Diversity in police departments is a plus. But we have to know that there's no one way. We have to put a few different things in place. And through it all, we must work together. We got to work together. This is a contact information for local police departments, because that was a big part of our last CAP talk, is that we have some issues with state police. And one of the big things that people would say is, well, you had some people on this side would say, well, you need to call them, you need to complain. And the person was like, I don't have no number for them. And even me finding this stuff, especially the state police stuff, was pretty hard. And I was Googling, and I had to reach out to people that knew people that knew people to then get that email. Like, we shouldn't be 3 people away from email contact information for a publicly funded department. We pay for them. Should be very transparent. We should be able to get to a person. So we want us to get that information out to you guys. We also have it in the back on the tables. We printed it all out, so on your way out you can get it, or whenever you make your way over there, you can get it. Absolutely. And that's it. That's it for us. So thank y'all. Thank you. Thank y'all so much. And so that's our presentation. But we really want to hear from y'all. Got my people in the back. Make sure you have our microphones. We've got a couple microphones. When you give your comment, because I want to hear from you, whether it's about the presentation, about anything else, dealing with police, your story, whatever. Like, this goes how you go. So we want to hear from you guys. When you give your comment, first say your name. So a lot of times we want to reach out to you after you say what you say and follow up, but we never get people to actually say their name before they say it. So please identify yourself before you give your comment. So that's somebody done.
Hey, you guys. My name is Catherine Rivers. I have stayed in the Birch Park Apartments for the last 5 years. Amongst a lot of the areas in the city that are affected, they are the most affected. We call the police may take 45 minutes or they may never show up. They'll ride through, they won't get out of their cars. They're almost afraid of the stuff that's going on out there. I've had my windows shot out. I've had them stand in front of my window and shoot into my neighbor's apartment. I've had my son be attacked, drugged and attacked like a couple of weeks ago. Like, it's out of hand. And it's to the point where we feeling like we might need to just go out here and handle stuff ourselves because the police are not backing us up. I had a young man by the name of Mike Cosby. I know a lot of y'all heard the case about him going missing in Saginaw. He was missing for 63 days. They would not search the water for that young man. We called everybody that we could. I called Fettersfield. Everything that we could possibly do to get them to come and search for that young man. 64 days later, he come up floating in the river. Y'all could have checked that river 63 days ago and saved his mama so much pain. They have not addressed the mental institution that let him go and gave him the wrong medication that caused him to be suicidal. They have not done anything for that family. They didn't give them legal representation to try to fight for themselves. Nothing happened for those people. And I don't feel like the community did enough for them either. I still can't sleep about that sometimes, just because I have a son that's mentally ill who had just been going through suicidal stuff before they called me for help. You know what I mean? So there's stuff that our community needs to get in the gap of, where they don't come into the gap for us. We need to come together. The last part of everything you said, what caught me was we need to do things together. Because divided, we're going to fall. This city is going to fall. We're not going to have a city left. These babies out here hurt. Grown people need to grab them. Grown men, talk some love into these kids. Give them some respect levels. Give them some teachings. Give them the game. So that they're not out here killing each other, not having no respect for the parents and the kids of the people that they're taking these lives from. They don't have anywhere to go. Our community centers are garbage. They're trash. They're not getting enough things brought to them so that they can help the community. And the people that's moving into adulthood from being these hurt children are becoming broken people. These are our people. These are our children.
Hello, my name is Otis Ray, the CEO of the Saginaw Building Bay City Gators, and I'm here to speak upon Keon Sanders, who was pulled out of a vehicle, brutally, attacked a kid that never ever did anything to deserve that. One of the sweetest kids. She came through our organization, and like I said, didn't deserve that, along with the fellow right there. Until we stand up and show it we mean business, we just gonna be talking. You gotta show them we mean business. Y'all ain't gonna be out here just using our kids as bait and rape, as far as what you were saying, standard procedure. We pay the police to protect us, not to protect us. I feel that Mr. Keon Sanders should be allocated as far as funding, because he has a long road to recover from this, as far as mental issues, as far as trust issue with any police. It don't matter where he be at. His mindset with the police is going to still be the same thing. Like you said, there's no community effort with the police, as far as being out walking on the beat. Because they know the streets ain't safe. They for a paycheck. That's all they for. Quit going after these drug dealers and get these mud dealers, and you know what the mud dealers is. These drug dealers ain't doing nothing. It's the mud dealers that's doing stuff. Kimberly Parham mama walked to the store to get her family, supposedly, some bread, man. Bully shot in the head with an AK, man. Come on, man. We hiring them to do our kids like this. I guarantee you in this room don't nobody know the names of none of these police officers that's inside them. None. Because people don't realize and understand they don't follow the figures and the numbers. Some of our police are from Flint, Michigan. How you gonna give us some Flint police? You know what I mean? Daytown is already disturbed. So they don't have no, okay, I know this person's parent, so I ain't gonna do that to this kid, I'm gonna talk to him. You got to have police communication within, or it ain't gonna work. Quit locking these kids up and give these kids an opportunity. Quit closing down these community centers and reopen these community centers. They know percentage-wise what to do with tools. They know to hit the community center, they know the penitentiary gonna go. What a kid gonna do in the urban area? Look at each other, talk to each other. You know what I mean? I have probably 100 kids in the Gators from all over. And Bruce will tell you, Poindexter, he has his own AAU team. Man, it's hard. I'm telling you, it's hard. But it's fair. If we don't stand up, we gonna sit down. I'm gonna stand up. I'm gonna stand up for Keon Sanders too. Can't be said no more. They gonna allocate him and that man right there. Y'all got insurance, you know what I mean? And they gonna quit. When you get out that police car, they supposed to push that button as soon as they open that door for that camera. Y'all gonna quit shadow boxing us, because we ain't going nowhere. Next phase, man, we got to get in front of City Hall, man, and show them. In numbers, not small numbers. We got to come out in thousands. Tell them, look here, y'all don't want to protect us? Look here, y'all, we pay the taxes here, man. She got to live with that for the rest of her life. Rhonda Sanders, man. To have to endure and have to be able to counsel them, man. You know what I mean? And to ask repeatedly, why did this happen to my grandson? No, I'm talking about this kid here. Obama kids ain't better than this kid, man. Nothing, man. Nothing. Smart. Might be your next congressman, man. You know what I mean? If you need something to figure out, ain't your name. Call Keon. You do it. And to be treated like that, man? No, we ain't standing for that. Take them police back to Flint, take them back up north, and let's get some us. So we can get some just us and not just us.
Good afternoon. My name is Felicia White, formerly from Saginaw. I live in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I think one of the things, and It's not just that. It's everything. But one of the things that I was doing some research, and a police officer goes from training to a police officer in the street, dealing with people of all different diversities in 6 weeks. In 6 weeks. They have 1 week of fighting strength. Racism is inbred. You know, you have white friends. First thing a white person will say, oh, I have a black friend. I have a lot of white friends. We're different from white people. They are taught, inherently to fear us. I was in a program where Grand Rapids with Uganda. They were doing people were opening up their homes when the war was going on, and they were bringing the people over. I've met several Africans from different, Ghana, Ethiopia. They're taught to fear black people when they are brought over here to America. And so, if you got a child that's raised that way, inherently, and they become police officers, what do you think is going to happen? I'm a nurse, and I see it every single day, not just with the police. I see it with doctors. I've had people come in the emergency room, black patients, in a sickle cell crisis. We're drugs eaters. That's the first thing you hear. But you got a person coming in with sores on their face, they ain't got teeth, and they give them pain meds. I have girls or kids involved in a sickle cell crisis, and everybody's walking down. Everybody. I called my husband one day. I said, I'm getting ready to lose my job. I'm standing in the middle, in the floor, in the ER. Who's the nurse for this room? Let's get it taken care of. So the police also inherently are trained that. So with the community policing, we have to do education. We have to teach them that we are on the same level as you. You have to respect us like we respect you. And until we get to that, and we have to respect ourselves. We have to respect ourselves, and we have to not just go away quiet. I commend myself. You get as many people as you can to make as much noise as you can. The squeaky wheel gets the oil. If we just say, like you said, it ain't my child. It ain't my child. How many times has that happened to somebody's child? Or people that didn't have the money to fight, and they just let it go. Like you said, the main thing that they're giving young kids now is, what is it? The child. Resisting arrest. Resisting arrest. That's the first thing they slap on them. And who in this community? I grew up on 1405 North 10th Street. We had the project, but we had First Ward Community Center too. And like you said, everybody knew everything. I'm going to tell your grandma. I'm going to tell your mom. So we didn't do too much. But it takes a community. But we have to stand together. Not just because we know this person. But, use social media about it. If something is going on, get on social media. Project it out there. That's how we're going to bring the community back together.
Thank you very much. Please excuse me. Can you hear me? Maxwell, that my boy. Right.
Introduce yourself.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Councilwoman Monique Lamar Scoop. And I must say that I don't want to say I stand alone, but I stand for the people that elected me. Okay, let's get that straight right now. So let's try not to put everybody in the same box. Because I am a councilwoman. I ran for the citizens of Saginaw. So when you give me something, you give me a job, you give me a word. Oh, geez, I can't take that back.
This one better. This one better. This one better.
I hate to try to talk like my throat full because I got so much to say. But I can't say everything today because of how my voice feels. But I had an opportunity to meet with some supervisor, Michigan State Police on the other day. And I got a lot of information I have to share later. So this just so. But one thing thing I do know, and I got from the conversation, and I looked up different things, the money that they're giving the Michigan State Police to come in our city and cuss us the hell out and beat the hell out of our children, we can get 25 to 30 Saginaw police officers trained and working in our city and bring back community policing. That money comes from the government. So, Mr. Otis, I don't know if he's still here, he said something, and I say it so often. When you tell me something, help back me up. If I go to city council and say, hey, this happened, that happened, I expect our people to damn be here. Come and show up. They tried to dog me out because I told people, come up, y'all come into the city of Saginaw and show up. You don't have to say nothing, but show you're behind what's going to be talked about. And that was at that time, that was the increase in water. So now we're talking about policing. Get a couple people, 2, 3, 4, I don't care, get 100. Sign up. Do what you say you're going to do. Sign up, come talk, tell them what the hell you want. Tell them what you're tired of. Because some people have a whole different narrative. And I wasn't being disrespectful when you were talking. I just found out about that interview. I was pissed the hell off a few minutes ago when I read that. And whoever know what I'm talking about, know what I'm talking about. I'm like, what the hell is that? And I tell them, we got some good, we got some bad. But I ain't finna kiss you. But, stop saying what I mean. I'm not gonna kiss your butt. Because you gave me what you gave me. I'm paying for your ass to give me whatever you give me. And I get upset because I know there's some good. Y'all know there's some good. And some of you all, you ain't got to tell your age. When we had community policing, it was different. It was different. They knew every drug dealer, every gang member in this city. But you know what I know? Because I worked with kids so long, they respected them. They did. They respected them. And if we want change, anytime there's something in your city, this is the way I feel. I could be wrong. You have, as a city council member, for me, about me, I'm supposed to address it. I don't care where the money comes from, where the funding, I don't care where they live or where they come. You're in our city, and we have a right to be heard. I'm not on city council I'm not even saying this to be reelected. I don't even know if I'm running. But I've always been an advocate for the city. We got to come on. Everything we're saying here, I thought it'd be way more people at the last council meeting. I swear I did. But all the young people in here today, y'all need to be at City Hall Monday. Sign up. You can get online and sign up. If you don't sign up before 1 p.m. on Monday, and say the same thing you said in here. Because people need to hear it. People know what's going on. They've been living here too, just like me. You know what's going on. So address it. Do what you was elected to do. Or quit getting elected.
Hi, I'm Sherelle. A lot of you guys know me as Big Rel. So, let me tell my story. So, I'm a boy mom. And I have 3 boys. As you know, I'm in the community heavily. Some of these police officers have worked a lot of my events. Yep. A lot of these police officers have worked my events because I went into the police station personally. I didn't even know what I'm doing. Because anything I do, I'm going to do it in the hood. I don't come from the side of the bridge, I come from the east side. Anything I do, I'm going to be on this side of the bridge. South side, north side, west side, east side. So all the events I have in the hood, because those are my people, those who support me. I have a son who's 15. He's about 6'3", so he doesn't look like a 15-year-old kid. He runs away. He's been running away for 2 years straight. I've been disciplined by your officers. Now, keep in mind, I'm a mom, and I'm calling. And when they call, I'm literally on my knees, sometimes I'm crying. I just need help. Please help me, because he deals with mental health issues as well. So the Madonna situation touches me a lot. That could be my son. I advocate well for my son. 113 phone calls. I want you to hear that. 113 phone calls for help for my son. It took for me to go hold Dan Stryker, the prosecutor, hostage in his office to get some reaction. When it only takes 10 calls for a white person, and I ain't trying to be, my son has white, but this is beyond that. A white person takes 10 phone calls to get incorrigibility charges filed on their child when they run away. Because as a minor, it's illegal. 113 phone calls for 2 years. And when I tried to get these, I asked them, hey, what about incorrigibility? I went to the juvenile service. I went to everyone. I went to community leaders who are supposed to be mentors for our children. So when they say, we got to stick for each other, I call some of y'all. My son don't got a mentor. I tried to get him on AAU teams. I guess it's a pick and choose. So understand, this is deeper than rap. Because I'm a mom who's trying to save her son. No, he's not a criminal. And when they come out, well, is there any drug use? No, sir. Was he in a gang? No, sir. He wants to fight. He wants to do this. Oh, well, he's justified because you ran up on him first. My son's justified to touch me because I ran up on him according to your officers. He's not doing any trouble, so it's really not a crime that he's doing. I go to your courthouse because now I'm tired. See, I don't give a damn about going to jail or hell. Neither one when it comes to my kids. So I was going to go to jail a week ago. Yeah, a few of your officers came up here to arrest me. Because I did. I held him in his office. I stood in the door. I'm not leaving. And I was at the top of my lungs. I need help for my son. I just want to save my son's life. It's almost like you want him to fail before you step in to help. I don't want him to fail before you come help mine. And if we all got to go down, we all going down. And I told him, whatever court case you want to, I'm talking about you say every courtroom. Whatever charges you do, whatever you do, I'm going to follow you. He said, so regardless of what I do, ma'am, you're not leaving. Hell no. And I got a court date finally for my son. They finally pressed the charges of incorrigibility to help me. But had I not took that extent, the law enforcement didn't help me for 113 phone calls. None of those calls helped me. I've been disciplined, I've been arrested, because I called for help. Not because I've done any crime. I'm like, damn, I get in more trouble now doing what I do in the community than when I was in the trap house. I don't understand. You're punished for being good. Like I told some of the officers, y'all in here, y'all call CPS on me to take my children. Because my son's telling you he's scared. I said, sir, how many times you been in my house? Maybe about 8. 8? It took him one time to get over with white people and say he's scared. Or y'all take me straight over to the county. Come in my house, remove my children. Now, I didn't last too long. Because who I am speaks for itself. I have a lot of people behind me, but this is what we're dealing with in the community before our kids become criminals. We can't even get the help for them for that. And yeah, there should be more community things, but at the same time, if I'm calling the law should have helped me somewhere. Me and my cousin Rose ride 2, 3 in the morning looking for my son. How many times I know I'm going to jail for busting somebody's windows out to go get my son? Pulling up to them, up in the strap on them because y'all want to act like defend my son up in here? The police came to get me though. And I'm like, sir, my son's in there. I don't even know these people. You think that? Well, he's in there, you just send him out. But, ma'am, unfortunately, I'm so tired of hearing unfortunately. It's the most unfortunate ass city I've ever seen in my life. It's unfortunately where we live at. It is. So, it's funny how they'll come out to my event though, because they're in the hood. In case y'all got crime, in case something go wrong. But I'm calling you to tell you I don't want it to go wrong with my son, and you're telling me, unfortunately. So wherever I gotta be, I'm glad you released those numbers because I got some things I typed up. I need them to hear my shit talking. And excuse me, saints, ain'ts, and older folks on the side. I do have respect, but right now this is about a life I'm fighting for that belongs to me. Not on top of the friends I've lost. Most of my friends are in fourth line. I'm only 38. The other one's in the joint. Unfortunately for their families, we were failed by the city, the community. And then I get mad at some of our own because some of these of our own I've reached out to don't stand here speaking on the police when you got us calling you black to black and you not helping either. You feel me? So I don't want to hear about how you so upset with the police because I'm so upset with some of the people that have sat here and shared talking about the police. Because had it been for some of y'all, I wouldn't have to deal with the police because he'd be involved. I do as much as I can. I'm not here trying to save people like give them hope. I'm pulling up on families, blessing them. Every year I'm giving book bags away, 200 to 300 book bags. I'm a single mom. I do this on the muscle. And I thank my community for backing me. I thank Sister Monique because she stands on her word. And it ain't for to be televised, everything that I do. But a lot of people know what I do. Yo, police officers know they done work my event. And I've had at least 13 big events. And they've been at all of them. And they come to my house and they treat me as if you're wrong for being a black mom. Because if I wasn't black, it wouldn't be that. So that's just that's my issue with the police.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hello, my name is Rain Payne, and I'm a very good citizen of Saginaw, and I stand for what I mean. And my niece, her son, they attacked him, drug him out of the car. My other grandson told them that he was the one that said what they was thinking that he said. And he told them, no, it was me. And they still drug him out of the car, slammed him on the ground. And then, I don't know whether they took him to jail, but he was arrested for that crime. And I don't think it's fair. She had to fly all the way from Colorado every time to see the end of this. And I don't think it's fair for her. And he is trying to graduate. He's an A student. He don't have no problems out in Florida. Is it Arizona? That's where he's at. Yeah, he's in Arizona. And that don't make sense for him to have to come here for this meeting with the police all the time. And she's spending money to get here. And then don't nothing be done about it. They say he got to be here. He got to be here. And he graduated. And that don't make sense. And he's an all-A student. He do what he say he do. He haven't been in any trouble in Arizona. So I think the police is not what they say. But I love you.
We love you too. We got it, right?
My name is Rhonda Sanders. Keon Sanders is my grandson. He resides with me in Arizona. His mother passed away. He was here visiting. And while he was here visiting, he was at a party, and the police arrived at the party, and they opened the door and ripped him out of the vehicle. In their arresting affidavit, they said that he refused to get in the vehicle. There's video evidence that shows that he was in the vehicle. They opened the door and ripped him out. So now they're saying that they arrested him for disturbing the peace. So they ripped a 17-year-old child out of a vehicle for disturbing the peace. And they threw him to the ground. And then that prosecutor refused to charge him with disturbing the peace, but he's charging him with 2 felony counts of resisting arrest. And he's 17 years old. So he's in the juvenile court system. We have to fly back and forth here to go to court for 2 felony charges of resisting arrest when they said that he wasn't disturbing the peace. They declined to charge him with disturbing the peace. They said that he was in the vehicle. The police have already said that. And their arresting affidavit said that he refused to get in the vehicle. So the community has to deal with the unlawful arrest, the malicious prosecution, and the mass incarceration, because that's what's going on here. That is what's going on here. And the juvenile system, they don't have trials. So juveniles have no choice but to take a plea. So they're getting cases, they're getting a record. That juvenile is getting a record, and they're taking a plea, and that's their only solution. It's the only, and it's not right. It's not right. It's not right at all. So they're trying to force him to take a plea. So they had said that we had to attend every single hearing in person. So they wanted us to travel from Arizona to Saginaw every single time he had a hearing. They issued a order to apprehend. When they were told during his preliminary hearing, I provided them with a copy of his driver's license, Arizona driver's license, his Arizona school records. He works at the Walmart in Arizona. Provided them with that information, his flight information. He was here for his great-grandmother's funeral. Provided him with her obituary. They knew that he resided in Arizona. So once they were told that, you knew that he resided in Arizona, and you're required by law to send a notice of hearing. You're sending a notice of hearings to Arizona. So how can you say that he wasn't supposed to leave the state? How can you say that he has to attend every hearing in person when you're sending the notice of hearings to Arizona? And it's absolutely crazy. So then after that, then they removed the order to apprehend. But they issued that order to apprehend so that he would have to come here, and then they would arrest him and force him and put him in jail and force him to take a plea. So they're trying to force a plea on him when he did nothing wrong. He did absolutely nothing wrong. He's an all-A student. He's a good student. He graduates next month. His birthday is today. He attends prom at the end of the month. And he don't even live here. You're trying to charge him with 2 felony charges of resisting arrest. It's not right. It's not right. And the officers turned they didn't have their body cams on. They didn't have their body cams on. There was a patrol vehicle that was parked directly in front of the incident. And they're saying that the dash cam wasn't working. They said that the emergency lights have to be on for the dash cam to work. And that's not true. That's not true. They're withholding evidence because the evidence doesn't align with what they're saying. Because he was in the vehicle. He got in the vehicle. My cousins were in the vehicle, and they were all preparing to leave. And they came and opened the door and ripped him out of the vehicle. Exactly. Right. And it has to be an original charge, but then the charge him with resisting arrest. But they don't have an original charge, but because there's one judge and one prosecutor, they're doing whatever they want in the juvenile system. They're doing whatever they want in the juvenile system, and every single juvenile, they're pushing these kids through the juvenile system and not giving them any option but to plead guilty and to take a plea. No trial.
I gotta get rid of that judge. I gotta get rid of that judge. I gotta get rid of that judge.
And I'm glad you brought up rights.
Yes.
I'm glad you brought up rights.
Yeah, I really think we need to get the Department of Justice involved here. Because there's unlawful arrest, and I have talked to so many people. And it's not just, it's happening to a lot of people here, a lot of residents here in Saginaw. The unlawful arrest and the malicious prosecution. My niece and nephew, they were arrested. They were in jail, at the county jail for 3 weeks. They were in the county jail for 3 weeks. The judge gave them a $100,000 bond, and then when they went and got the bond reduced, they bonded out. A week after they bonded out, then they dropped the charges. They dropped the charges a week after they bonded out. My brother and his ex-wife had to pay the bondsman a lot of money, and they spent 3 weeks in jail. They paid a lot of money to get them out. And a week after they bonded out, they dropped the charges. Malicious prosecution. They had them with like 10 counts. The judge said they were looking at 2 life sentences. Oh, some trumped up charges. And they dropped all the charges a week after they bonded out. So the unlawful arrest and the malicious prosecution and mass incarceration is happening in this community. It needs to be addressed.
Absolutely.
It needs to be addressed. And this has been going on for a long time.
Thank you so much. Man, that story breaks my heart. And I know we talked about it before. Every time I hear you talk, I hear the pain in your voice. And you're right. And that's a nice segue, because as much as we're talking about police, we have a whole system that needs to be changed. Police is just the muscle. They're on the low end. But a case like yours, Ms. Monique talks about accountability with our elected officials. You know who else is an elected official? The county prosecutor. So I hate to go political, but we gotta go political sometime. We gotta vote a person like that out. Everybody that's elected, which a lot of them in that building are. The judges are on the ballot too. Y'all gonna see next year on the 24 ballot. Yeah, the president is up there, but we gotta stop focusing on that president stuff. I'll never meet Joe Biden.
Come on.
But I'll see McCogan at Meyer. You know what I mean? We have to refocus on local elections. And that's, by the way, that's where we have the numbers. In a city like Saginaw, we're the majority. We should be running everything here.
And there will be 6 seats open on city council.
You gotta go to the
Bingo.
You got to. Not just here.
And the fact that the mayor refuses to come to this meeting and the state police refuses to come to the meeting is a problem.
Major problem. Major problem. And if you didn't hear that, she said the mayor not being here and other elected officials not being in rooms like this is a problem. And y'all, I know, let me just address something culturally, because now we family in here. Stop being, just because you cool with the mayor, don't mean you can't hold her accountable. And she's not the only one, so I'm not picking on her. It's just an example. We can be cool. We can be cool. Hey, Mr. Mayor, how you doing, sir? Great to see you. I don't like what y'all doing. Please stop. We ain't lose our friendship, and if we did, we ain't have one. If I can't hold you accountable in your position that I voted you in, so you can't hold that. How am I against you and I voted you in? But there's another piece, there's another side to the coin. I vote you in, and I hold you accountable. We have to, man, your story sticks with me, and all of them do. Mr. Man, all of this sticks to me because it points out a problem with the system. And a lot of what we do here with CAP is we address systemic issues. This isn't a one-off thing. It ain't just your story. It ain't just your story. This, when you have story after story after story, it's systemic. It's the system that's the problem. And we have to address the system. Now, you know, we here for police today. We can address whatever, but and I wanted to ask y'all, in terms of policing, I brought up community policing because a lot of this, a lot of stuff, if you have community policing, that don't even make it to the courthouse. If you got the right officer in your neighborhood, a lot of the stuff don't even make it down there. Don't even make it down there. If I can deal with you right here, bruh, get in my car. We about to ride, we about to have a chat. I ain't gotta take you to the station. I point that out because I want to hear from y'all what y'all think. Like, I pointed out what, a general consensus of what community policing looks like, but it has to fit the community itself. So I want to ask y'all, what does community policing look like here?
We have another statement.
Yeah. Somebody got the mic back there? Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, my name is Sherelle, and I moved back to Saginaw. I've been here like a year. I was in Rochester, New York, and I came back home to take care of my mother because she was sick. And I was defamation of character from the police. When I said the state police, I had every district come to my home at 4:35 in the morning. I was sleeping on my couch, and they raided my home for a tip of cocaine. I never sold drugs a day of my life. I've been working since I was 16 years old. And when I tell you...
You said they had a tip?
A tip, that's what they told me. And I'm going to tell you, I've been working a plant job all my life, and I actually got hit by a FedEx truck in 2016, me and my mother. And I got paid out for that. And they actually came in my home, they asked me where I was getting my income and all that stuff as well. And when I was asleep on my couch, and when they kicked down my door, and I was asleep, and I did have a gun on my waistline. And
As you should. That's your house.
So let me tell you what happened. So when they kicked down the door, and they automatically, when they kicked down the door so fast, it was like hands up. So my hand went up, and the cover went down, and they automatically seen the gun on my waistline. And so the guy said, "She got a gun, she got a gun." She pointed a gun. So I would have been dead automatically, because they trained to kill. And so when he did that, he automatically flipped me over, and he put a bread tie and tied my hands on the back. And so he hurried up and flipped me over, and then my head hit the floor, my knee hit the floor, and I yelled out medical condition like 3 times. And so my thing is, why are you situating that I pointed the gun at you? So I would have been dead. And so on the paperwork, he literally said that my gun was on the waistline. So the next person could have came in and killed me or anything. So by then, it's down there like 30 police task force in my home. So my thing is, why the hell is y'all in my fucking home? Excuse my language. Because by then, I'm pissed. Y'all done scared me out my sleep. I have seizures, for one. And so I know at the end of the day, out of 100%, 90%, I'm home. And so by then, he had threw me on the floor. He had yanked me up, threw me against the wall. Now, I ain't saying medical condition 3 times. So out of my accident, I have chronic pain. I have so many medical issues from getting hit by a semi-two-wheel trailer tractor from the back in the highway doing 60 miles per hour. I'm lucky to be alive. Thank you, Jesus. So I take this pain that I go through. I might don't look like nothing that I go through, but I go through things. I still go to physical therapy and need everything. So that's why I'm not understanding why the hell they at my home. Because out of 90%, I'm home. So with this being said, after he threw me against the wall, when I say I look out my front window, I'm not exaggerating. It's about damn near 50 police cars in the front of my home, undercover cars. I stay off a dead end. So they got it blocked off like I'm a kingpin. So I'm really pissed off because why is y'all at my home? So by then, probably like a half an hour had passed, They finally take me in my room. They asked me. They was like, I'm like, why is y'all home? Why is y'all here? So they wind up mentioning my uncle name. So now I'm thinking it's personal. Now you mentioning my uncle that's passed away. Because my uncle got murdered and his case is actually on TV, a 48 ID, because he got murdered, he got stabbed 57 times, 7 fingers cut off. But why in the hell are you bringing his name up? So now I feel like it's personal. Now you're bringing up another cousin name that's on my other side of the family. So why is he bringing his name up? And so with this being said, now the person name that he brought up, I actually bought this house from my cousins. And he said, well, he haven't been in the office. So I'm thinking, like, this is personal, but still, what does this have to do with me? And so he said, well, where do you get your income from? I said, look here, this bag that y'all ain't ripped up all through my house, all through the ceilings and stuff, you see that I'm fixing on the house to flip it and stuff that I'm standing. So with this being said, I said, look here, you could Google me. Just like that, because look here, I'm like a young retiree. I said this book bag, it's all my lawyer paperwork. This is how I get my income. Whatever the case may be, you see all my medicine here. And by the way, can I have my seizure medicine? By then, it's like a whole hour and passed by. And so, they didn't let me take my seizure medicine right away. I said, y'all just scared me out of my sleep. I jumped up like a parked car. You know, I'm shook up. You know, why is y'all here? And so he finally wound up like, I said, I'll tell y'all anything that y'all want to know, because I know personally I'm not doing anything. I'm licensed for everything I do. So I gave him my license for my gun. I'm a medical carrier for marijuana, because I got chronic pain, so I don't have no weed in my house enough for a blunt, because I do smoke weed for my chronic pain. So why is y'all here? And so they was like, well, we got to read you your rights, and we'll tell you why we're here. And so that's when they told me. I'm like, I signed the paper. I was like, I don't care about signing the paper. I go ahead and do it. So I wound up signing the paper or whatever. So that's when they told me, well, we're here for a tip of the rate. I said, well, you need to go back to that damn tip. I don't sell no fucking cocaine. I said, just like that. And so they was like, well, by the way, where you get your income? And so I wound up telling them, look here, I got in an accident, da-da-da. And I used to work for General Motors. I got 18 years. And so I follow my job. Look, I follow my job. So, but I'm not worried because I don't do anything. That's why I'm not worried about anything. So, by the way, I let them go in my phone. I let them go in my Jeep. Anything that's locked, I don't have no right to let them even do that. But I allowed them to do that. So, by then, if I sold any drugs or anything, all that to be in my phone. Somebody want to buy this, buy this. And by the way, it's the first of the month. And y'all come in my house at 4:35 in the morning. Don't you think my house would be jumping and all that kind of crazy stuff? And by the way, now it's there 4 hours have passed by and all this stuff. Now they finally get a woman to come in to search me. And by the way, this is so embarrassing. I'm defamation of character. They did so much stuff and violated me personally. I ain't came on my cycle and everything that morning. I feel so embarrassed. I got handcuffs on me. Now I gotta go in my back room, in my bathroom, and for she to search me. You know how embarrassing and insult that is when I know I don't sell no drugs. I've been working there since I was 16. Look here, when I took my job for Delphi, they turned to General Motors. I followed my job. They gave me $40,000 to transfer from Michigan since 2005. Look here, I only came home to take care of my mother, not to be disrespected from no police or nothing. And then that following week, I go get my family graveyard blankets, like 8 of them. I get pulled over by a sheriff. So now they know my truck and now they picking me. So I'm going to tell you, it was hard to find a lawyer because I couldn't get a lawyer out of Saginaw. So I kept calling Detroit. So God gave me a breakthrough. Just like last week, I finally found a lawyer to take my case. And so I got a lawyer that's going to finally take my case. So I built a case against Saginaw to take my case for Saginaw. So last week I took care of that. And so maybe by next week or the following week, they're going to get something to build a case against Saginaw police because they even took my license gun, which they ain't had no right to even take my license gun. And they was like, well, they didn't even charge me with anything because I don't sell anything. So what was that about? You know, and
I'll tell you.
that's baloney.
Yeah, it is. The first thing I hear in all of that, they ain't produce a warrant.
You know,
They ain't even produce a warrant. And so they ain't have no right to go through none of your personal phone. Like, all of that is like, before I get to the next comment.
But at the end of the day, it's different when you see things like that on TV. But when you violate my rights to come through my door, like, I'm going to tell you, I don't even sleep in my room. I sleep in my recliner chair in my living room. Like, y'all scared me. And when I say the guy, when he came in and put that gun to my head and the light and the shield, like, you overdid your power. When I yelled out medical, you don't throw me board on the floor and throw me against the door and you yell it out that I pointed the gun. And then the crazy thing, I had a camera in my living room and caught everything. Caught everything. Like, at the end of the day, I know you have a job to do, but don't over-assess your job. And that's what I told my attorney. Like, at the end of the day, I have been scarred behind this. It ain't a matter, do your job, but when a person say medical condition, you don't overdo your job. What's the point of that? What's the justification for that? And if you come on my house as a tip, follow me first. Because out of 100%, 90% I'm home. If I sell cocaine, I should have had powder in my house. I should have had bags in my house. I should have had all that shit in my house on the first of the month. I should have had numerous things in my phone. I should have had all these things. Like, I allowed y'all to do anything that I wanted to do in my home. I gave you access to everything.
Bro, it's right in front of you. But while you passing that mic, I know that it's easy for somebody like me to tell you about the rights. You know, and it ain't happening to me in the moment. And we don't think about it. But I think it's necessary to say that we have to know our rights.
Yeah, almost definitely.
We have to.
And then trust me, like after that, I put my house up for sale because I already know now since they got the paper for me to build a case, I gotta get out here. So they not gonna fuck with me. Excuse my language, cause I don't got time for that.
Yep, I got you. I'm gonna tell you.
Like,
The young lady said right here, it ain't just Saginaw.
Yeah,
so wherever you go, they messing with us.
Oh yeah.
So, but man, that thank you for saying what you said.
Yeah.
Did you get?
And then everybody know to a point, like people that know me, they know I don't sell no drugs. I always had a job in my life. Anybody that know me, I don't sell no drugs. Don't.
Okay, thank you. I got 3 things I want to say. Real quick. I have 3 things I'd like to say, but real quick. The young lady right here, I've been looking into that case. Myself and Marcus Muhammad. I think that's a cousin of the young man. So, we can talk. Okay. To the young lady back here. Well, here, let me make a broad statement. Because you said, and I spoke to you, one thing we used to do, and I'm getting ready to do it again, is actually know your rights. We taught it to the young people, but I see some of us, we need to know. And we bring in attorneys, Center for Civil Justice, legal aid, just a whole form of people to express to you and let you know what your rights are. You know, what you do in particular situations, what you shouldn't do, etc. But I don't want to, can I just give you a word of advice? Once you get an attorney in on your case, you really don't speak about it because it's a lot of things that could hurt you later. I'm praying that it doesn't, but don't say anything without first conferring with your attorney. That's the best advice I can give. And I understand, I can feel the emotion because I know some things that happened in my family. But once you get an attorney, you are no longer over your own case. You can't really speak about it. It would be better that you don't, but that goes back to knowing your right. My thing would have been, even though I'm not doing anything, I ain't giving you free rein to do nothing. Give me a lawyer, let's go. That's it. It's over. And we have to know that, you know. So, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
I come from a praying family. God got me.
Oh, you do? That's right.
God got me.
Hello, everybody. My name is Bruce Poindexter. Black Bruce. No, but I'm just listening to everybody's these. It's a lot going on, especially I'm doing. I just started an AAU for my son, and just looking at all the kids that's coming in there with all this luggage, no parents, and it's emotional because now I got to go through like the courts with these kids. Their parents they don't even have the common, I don't even know if it's a common sense or they just don't get it. But one of these little kids got caught stealing shoes. They got home with them. They some cherry red Jordans. I got like 6, 7 kids on my basketball out there at Freeland Sports Zone. So one of the kids stole some shoes out one of the cubbies, and now he made it home like 2 days. He got them. So the police officer called me. I'm at work. I work at Lake Orion down at General Motors. I told him, yeah, I seen them. I said, as soon as I get off work, I'll get them to you. As soon as I got off the highway, hour to get home, we had practice. I had my mom to come pick up the shoes for one of the kids and take them back out to Freeland Sports Zone. The officers told me, he kept calling me. He's like, hey, we're not going to, have you dropped them off yet? I said, yeah, I dropped them off. I said, they ain't going to press charges or nothing. Then this goes back to what you said about they're giving our kids cases or nothing. So he was like, yeah, he had them for like 2 days. We turned the shoes in. And now the officer's steady calling, and he's calling just to get the little kid a case. He told him wasn't nothing going to happen. He's like, because the shoes wasn't damaged or anything. They weren't damaged, but now it's so many little kids, and now I feel like I'm going through this with all of them, and ain't no parent. The parents they're not stepping up. I'm going to go to court, so it's like I'm doing it, and we just got to start with home with the kids, because the police ain't no justice for real. So I'm just came to tell my story, and that's it, pretty much.
I appreciate it. We got one more in the back. I'm gonna take that one more in the back. In the interest of time, I'm gonna be respectful right now.
Yeah, no. Well, my daughter is forcing me to speak, so I'm gonna say something.
What's your name?
My name is Alonzo Sylvia. I just wanted to say, with everybody here, it's all political. If you're paying taxes and give your money, it's all political. Not only that, you got to stop electing, go along, get along. People want to use the word. When you go to the city council, call these people out. If you won't change, you got to call them out. You can't sit there and just say, okay, it ain't me. It ain't happening to me. It's happening to her or him or her. It ain't affecting me. It is affecting you. It's affecting all of us. Call them out. If you standing there talking and these people are sitting up there looking at you, call their names. Tell them, you're not doing nothing. I elected you. You ain't doing what you said you was going to do. So therefore, I'm putting you on blast. See, I hate to talk because I call people out. Your city mayor ain't doing you no good, so why you ain't saying anything? You scared? What you scared of? Stop electing, go along to get along. I want to use another word. I'm just going to leave it at that. And it is all political. What are you afraid of? You saying you're afraid they're doing all this to your kids and to your community. Then say something. Speak. Open your mouth. We all say we all God's people. Did he give all of us a brain? He gave you a mouth, didn't he? He gave you something to say. Say it. I'm tired of go along to get along. Now, if you won't change, then stand up. Speak. Call them out. Whoever it is, put their name out there. Say, look, you ain't doing nothing. And if you ain't doing it, you need to go. So what's the problem? You don't want it, then say it. Speak it. My daughter, see, I get the cussing, so I better get done.
Pastor, I need you to say something, Pastor.
Well, you know,
I'm sitting here, Brother Sylvia just hit the nail on the head. I'm one of those people, y'all, that I don't mind getting in the office. I don't mind going to the meeting. I don't mind getting called names. By other folk or by us folk, it don't matter. What we're listening to, y'all, what we're hearing is the result of extended trauma. This system is inflicting trauma on our community. What we're witnessing is the new version of the prison to pipe, the new version of Jim Crow, the new version of chattel slavery. I've been telling the other pastors, we're going to have to get out the pulpit. And we're going to have to get an attitude just like they had after emancipation. Because we need some reconstruction-minded preachers and leaders who don't mind saying, I love God and I love people, but I hate sin, I hate bigotry, and I hate evil. I don't care who it is. Somebody told me the other day, he said, Pastor J, why don't you all get out there and stop this stuff? Well, first of all, the people that run in the streets ain't coming to church. So I can't preach to them in the church. And they ain't going to listen to me. They ain't going to listen to me if they don't think that I'm going to listen to them. So I can't be way up here. So the reason that I'm with CAP, the reason I'm visibly with CAP is because this conversation needs to keep on happening.
Yes, it does.
Jeff, don't you all let nobody make you think that your questions aren't good enough. Just the fact. You know what? An old man told me one time. He said, man, if you throw a rock into a crowd of dogs, the only one bark is the one that got hit. So we can't be upset when things happen like that. So I'm saying that this is just another one of those moments, y'all, where we gotta do what we gotta do. And it means that it could be that out of this meeting, somebody needs to say, Pastor Coleman said maybe everybody on city council need to be gone and we need to have a whole new council. And if they say that, it'll be because y'all just heard me say that. That's one of the reasons. I'm not going to run for office. I ain't trying to be no elected official. But you're not going to make me stop talking. Right? You all know this. Get this. If all of us in the city of Saginaw decide who we want to vote for, what we want to vote for, we can win any election that there is. There's enough of us to vote in the next representative from our district, that's the next county commissioner. We got enough votes, but our problem is only 15 and 20% of us gonna go. If 50% of Saginaw's residents vote, everything about how people make decisions at the table is gonna change. So let's go to work. One thing to talk, but let's go to work. I ain't scared.
I ain't scared either.
Yeah.
And I'm with you.
And that's why I'm here, y'all. That's why I'm here. People will be talking about me. They'll be saying, man, Pastor Coleman, you with them? I was with them from the very first conversation. And I ain't scared to be public either. You know what? Am I right? Am I right, Gordon? Right. Y'all know me. I'm glad I didn't have to say anything. But yesterday is my birthday. I'm 70 years old now. I'm old enough to say whatever I want to say. And I'm with you all. I'm with you. And whenever there's a fight, sis, if you need my voice, in the prosecutor's office, let me know. I will call him myself. And say, listen, this is what I need. Because I ain't scared. Let's do this, y'all.
Janae Lamar. That's my niece, she called.
Judge.
Yeah, Judge. Anyway,
Judge.
how we got out, and this is a thought. She wasn't elected by the people, because if you looked at the voting turnout, you would cry. But one thing about what God has for you is for you. Now she's been appointed judge, has made history in Saginaw. Magistrate judge, But anyway, what I'm saying is like Dr. Coleman said, I don't care, we have to get folks sitting on top of our car. Let's get the people to the polls. It's early now to start that movement. If it's have to be a movement, it shouldn't have to be, but it is what it is. Let's get out and vote. What we're saying in here, that vote matters when we go to that poll next year. And any other time we have to go. Vote. I don't care if it's an off-year election or what. If you want change, because you can't go most likely into particular elected officials' office and say, we want you to go and get out. It's ways to get rid of it's a process. But the best process is to get out there and vote. Vote who you want in office. You ain't got to take what I'm going up and vote. And if it ain't somebody I won't vote none of it. None. I ain't giving you nothing. But if I want you, I'm going to vote for it. So we got to get out and vote. We have to make sure our family, we got no time. Okay, I'm sorry. We got to vote. I thought you was hoarse.
She got her voice back. But as a community, we've been hoarse too long. We all need to get our voice back. Thank you for that. In the interest,
Monday. They got a meeting Monday at City Hall. We need to be like she did.
Be there. And if you want to give public comment,
Send somebody.
you want to give public comment.
What time is the meeting Monday?
6:30.
But if you want to speak, you have to sign up before 1.
Before 1. You can sign up right now if you want to.
Right. You get online.
Go on up until 1 o'clock Monday.
So it starts Monday. Express yourself about your son Monday.
If you want to
Get
talk.
there Monday. Ain't no, I can't make it. Figure it out. We can figure out how to get to the club. We can figure out how to get everywhere else. Get there and make your voice heard. Because they'll never hear you if you at home. They'll never hear you if you at home.
I want to be respectful of y'all time. Thank y'all so much for coming. I appreciate it. I know the time flew by, but it's 3:10. Thank y'all so much. Thank you. Give y'all some help. Thank y'all for coming. Also, we still got food. I know we got food out there. Please eat it. We don't want to take nothing home. So thank y'all so much.
I thought you would. And I was looking at you.
Good to you.
I'm a Saginaw resident, Roman Catholic Church of
That's why mine was every time the fight against the game, it's going to be there.
We are systemic racism is starting at the national level. at the top. It's always been there since the founding. It's a sad shame. Because I felt like it said, welcome to the we're still facing
We gotta do that. You outside? You've been good, man. Always go.
I would be low.
OG. I ain't know who's back there. You talking, I talk. What? You triple OG. You talking about you a triple OG. See you at. That's why I say you earned on me. You earned on this baby milk. You real. You already know. You got to see what I'm hanging with. I ain't sure. The only problem, they make me look short. Tell the pastor with the broom. Yeah.
What's up, B?
What's your name? You stored on my phone or that? They don't know you like I didn't know that was you. That's what you said.
Y'all like to fuck.
Nephew here. Yeah, our people still here. Thank y'all so much. Appreciate it.